This gentleman over here had said, you know what, you just finished college, law school's a few months away, why'd you go to Comic-Con? So between the pressure that Barry put on me and Gene Henderson, who's sitting in the audience right now, they said, you know, you'll have fun for a few days, you'll meet people who have an interest like you do, and I did what Mark did. We were running projectors at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm thinking, okay, this was a good idea at the time. And so for a couple of years, the idea of running projectors and sleeping 10 to a room, you know, when you're young, that doesn't bother you that much. You tend to overlook a few things. And then later on, they said, well, we have openings for officers. And I said, okay, I'd really like to run films. And I get a call from Gene going, you're in charge of programming. Okay, it's not what was on my list of things to do, but all right, I can live with that. So Barry and I were sitting there looking at putting together a program schedule. And this was at a time when we had to run 3 programs tracks at the same time compared to what you have right now. Trying to figure out how to get from point A to point B in a smaller venue, and it managed to all work out. But we really learned how to multitask very quickly and to survive on very little sleep, dealing with the things that were happening because it was a little bit more raucous back then. And you tended to be a little bit more flexible with certain things. I mean, it's not the monolith that it is right now. After a few years of programming, Shell decided to step down, Richard Butner stepped down, Lance over here became the president, and I sort of became his number 2, which basically meant doing everything and anything at the SAM. Everything from stuffing reg packets at midnight to dealing with guests, to working on the program schedule, to trying to find a few hours of sleep, because I think it's amazing how little sleep we survived back during that time period. We'd be in bed at 3 and back again for a morning briefing at 7:30 going, okay, here's what we need to do right now. And having sleep. And it was one of those situations where, as we started to progress more and more, it became more involved. You saw the convention grow, even from the El Cortez, which I have some very strong and positive memories of, to the old convention center, to where we are right now. And you start to see this expansion. And I'm looking out here, and there's still people who are friends of mine, and people who I've known for many years, people like Mark Spieler, Steve Sappel, who I've known for 25 years from that very first trade show, back when I saw him trying to assemble the Marvel booth and having a tremendous time and a tremendous amount of you were watching him assemble the Marvel booth at the time. And I'm sure he'll forgive me for that hopefully later. And you start to see this growth of this industry, and it became more and more involved. And fortunately, the people who passed on subsequent to us have taken it and really run with it. And I'm pleased with what they've done. Why they allowed us back there one more year to this year still escapes me. And there was this whole list of regulations, all of which we routinely violated in terms of what we were not allowed to do, and we did them anyway. But the last night, when we used to have sort of these Saturday get-togethers in the evening, we'd already been told that we weren't going to be back next year. And they'd already had a vast, strong, no alcohol policy at Comic-Con. And when the word got out that we weren't coming back anyway, several of our guests, who I probably won't mention, because I'm sure they would prefer not, decided to go out on a beer run. And so we had this massive pool party, and people not having places to throw the beer cans just ended up throwing them into the pool. So by the end of the evening, the entire pool looked like a giant floating beer can. And I don't know why I got blamed for this, because you were the one who dealt with the hotel plate, but the next morning I'm walking and the hotel manager waves me over. He was obviously agitated, and he goes, you realize, of course, we're going to have to clean the pool. And I said, well, you better, because it's filthy. My young brother, and it hasn't changed much, apparently found opportunities to procure alcohol. He's sitting outside of my room, completely wasted, and Bill, who had the room next to us, said, are you waiting for somebody? And my brother's like, yeah, I am. He goes, why don't you come on in and wait while he shows up? Well, my brother decides to get sick all over Bill's room at the time, and Barry and I came back, and all of a sudden there's like this, and Bill says, I think I have something that belongs to you. And it's my younger brother, who still remembers that story much to a degree, and that's how Bill and I got to be friends. My drunken little brother, who was a significant minor, and apparently they weren't karting very strongly in the city of San Diego.